Welcome back to the Cox Convention Center. Dave Morris alongside the Oklahoman's Barry Tramel. It is the Oklahoman's All-City Prep Sports Award. Fun night tonight over the next couple hours here at the Cox Convention Center. Things are getting set up behind us. Athletes are coming in. Coaches are coming in as well. And you tonight, one of the highlights of tonight, in addition to the awards that will be handed out to a variety of prep sports athletes from the past year, you will be talking on stage to former NFL great Peyton Manning, who is in Oklahoma City. You just saw him. How did that go?
Well, it went great. You know, I covered several Peyton Manning games. Never really talked with him one-on-one. He's very nice. We went over the interview, talking about the questions he felt comfortable answering, what he wanted to talk about, and had a good time. About the messages he wanted to get to the high school kids, and funny stories about his career and those kinds of things. So I think people are going to enjoy it. Of course, we're talking about one of the iconic athletes of the last 50 years in America.
You're going to get about 30 minutes maybe on stage talking with Peyton Manning. What do you have prepared to ask him? I know you just debriefed with him, but in your preparing for this interview, what were some of the things you were like, hey, I want to ask him about this?
Well, I wanted to ask him about stuff I really didn't know. Like, I know what's Colts and Broncos and all that stuff. I mean, if he's got some good stories about that, great, but I want to know more about his high school career. He grew up in New Orleans, Isidore Newman High School, famous high school down in New Orleans, and what was it like playing? He grew up the son of an NFL quarterback in that city, New Orleans Saints, Archie Manning, and he's got a brother. He's got a famous father. He's got a famous brother. Both have been, incredibly successful NFL quarterbacks. So I wanted to ask him about that, growing up in that kind of environment. I want to ask him about his brother. He's got an older brother. Everybody knows about Eli, but Cooper, his older brother.
What does Cooper do?
Well, he went to Ole Miss and was a really good wide receiver, and then got a disease and had to quit football. So now he's in the financial business. Okay. But what's that like to have an older brother that has his career pulled out from him just as you're getting started at the University of Tennessee? So some of those things, and of course everybody, most people under 18 now know of Peyton Manning for his commercials.
Are you going to ask him about any jingles?
I'm trying to decide whether I should sing the jingle or not. What are you doing in OKC? Now, I can't carry a tune good enough to pull it off.
I was about to say, do you feel good enough about getting on stage to sing?
No, I do not. I do not have the voice to pull it off, but if I did, the time we would have.
That's not going to stop you, right? You're still going to throw it out there.
I don't know. Chris Reen, our publisher, suggested I do it, so I got a free pass. I got a free pass if I want to do it.
Barry, what got you started in sports?
Well, I loved sports growing up as a kid, and loved newspapers. My dad took 4 newspapers a day, and learned pretty young. I had an aptitude for writing, but about the first time I got really hit hard in football, I said, enough of this. When I was 12, I went to an AAU basketball tryout for a state team. I was pretty good in basketball.
I was about to say, I've played some basketball against you. You're pretty good.
Yeah, when I was 12, one of the dudes I was playing with dunked, and I said, this game's not for me. And then I was 13, I saw my first curveball. So at about the age of 14, I realized, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this much longer. I better move over to the writing side.
Very good. I remember playing at the YMCA, a pickup game. This is probably 10, 15 years ago. Byron Houston was in the gym, and here's my bright idea. I'm going to set a pick for my team against Byron Houston.
That's a bad idea.
He moved me about 10 feet faster than I've ever moved in my life.
Oh, my goodness. Mount Crushmore, we called him. We called Byron Houston Mount Crushmore.
There's a reason why I'm on this side of the camera and not playing sports, for sure. I spoke with Jacob Unruh earlier about his coverage of high school athletics this year. What is your thought? You cover all ranges of sports, from pros like Peyton Manning, Russell Westbrook with the Thunder, to the college ranks. Bob Stoops this past week made headlines, to some high school athletics. What's your favorite? Is there a genuine level of sports that you're like, yeah, I'm going to go there? Maybe it's the Big House with All-State or the state basketball tournament. Well,
my favorite high school event of the year is the state tournament at the Big House. Love the atmosphere, love it. The small towns, it could be 3A, 2A, A, B, I don't really care, but the passion that you see in the community, the way it's all drawn together and the way it's tightly knit, and really binds people together. I find that very charming. I love it. So that's probably my favorite high school event of the year, is the state tournament out at the Big House. Of course, I've been going, I think my first Big House state tournament was 1971, so we're talking 46 years ago.
You've seen a few games.
So I've been out there a bunch. Eventually we're going to get a new arena out at the Big House, and it's going to be great for everybody, and there's going to be a twinge of sadness in my spirit because I'm going to miss that old place.
I see a column in our future about the big house.
Yeah, probably so. And you know, I love high school football. I love just going to any game, and you know, I love walking up to the stadium. That's one of my favorites. On a nice, crisp autumn afternoon, and you're walking up to the stadium, and you can hear the drums. I love the drums and the band beating there in rhythm, and it's a great. Just let you know, hey, there's football about to be played.
I was about to ask you, what do you pay attention to when you're going from parking lot to the gate?
Well, I mean, I listen for the band, and I look for the concession stand because I always like to get a hot dog with some nacho cheese on it and some mustard. That's good eating right there. So, and then like to find a good place to sit. You know, sometimes the comfort is mandatory, so I need a good place to sit, but.
It's part of the charm in various stadiums, right?
And you know, I've walked the sidelines at my fair share of football games in Oklahoma, and it's not a great way to see a game, but sometimes it's the what you have to do. So, you know, I've done pretty much all of it when it comes to high school sports.
Chatting with the Oklahoman's Barry Tramel. One final question before I let you go, Barry. One of the fun things that you do, in addition to writing for the newspaper and online at newsok.com with the various blogs, is your travel blogs and your passion for food. Is there a little hidden place among your travels covering high school football or basketball, for that matter, or any other high school sports that you're like, I didn't know about that diner or that cafe or that cheese sandwich for maybe?
Let's see.
Do you have a favorite?
I mean, most of the places I go, people know about in Oklahoma. We're talking about Mears and
Sure.
The Ponca City Airport, the Mexican joint up there, all kinds of places.
Those are both solid.
Trying to think of a place that people wouldn't know about. I don't, you know, I think I write about, I mean, I think people would know, I mean, it's all the usual suspect. Generally speaking, I don't uncover places. People tell me where to go, and I go there. So, I mean, people are directing me more than me directing people. Sometimes you just sort of get lost. I tell you where I love to go is the Dairy Deal in Salina. I don't know that I've ever written about that. It's a little, what we used to call just a burger joint in Salina, my dad's hometown in Mays County. Love going to the Dairy Deal. We have a family reunion every Memorial Day Sunday east of Salina at my aunt's house up on the creek. We stop at the Dairy Deal going to my aunt's house. We stop at the Dairy Deal coming back from my aunt's house twice in one day.
Tim Money, our videographer, who's probably been at a few cafes with you, is behind the camera cracking up right now. Yeah. Chatting with the Oklahoman's Barry Tramel. It's the Oklahoman's All-City Prep Sports Awards tonight here from the Cox Convention Center. Barry will be on stage later tonight. Chatting with Peyton Manning. I'll let you go, Barry. I know you have things to do. Follow him every day in the Oklahoman, online at newsok.com. He's also on Twitter. Barry, thanks for your time.
You bet, Dave.